Hey, folks. I'm Elena,
I'm Dara.
and this is Where's the Adult? Podcast about being caregivers when you don't feel like you're the one to do the job.
No.
And today, we are very, very, very excited and honored to have a person who we have talked about on basically every episode.
Yeah.
No, it's not Heather.
It's not Heather. No crying today.
Right.
well, maybe. Who knows?
But it's Dr. Lyn Weinberg.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm happy to be here.
Good.
We're happy to have you.
We're very happy to have you.
Very happy to have you.
Our audience already knows you.
Yes, yes, yes. So when we did the Caregivers Conference, it was because of Dr. Weinberg, and she is Lloyd's gerontologist, as you all know. Well, if you're new, she's Lloyd's gerontologist. So, yeah, let's get into it.
So how did you become a gerontologist? Like, why?
Oh. Well, it goes back to my mom, who's a nurse, and she is one of my most favorite and influential people in my life. And her whole career has been with older adults in geriatrics. She has worked in long-term care facilities. She actually took a lot of time off from nursing to have kids and then went back to work when I was about 6 and started working in skilled nursing facilities, long-term care. And she would bring me in as a volunteer. And I was young. I was probably about 10, 11, 12. So very young. And my mom's all about volunteer work. She does a lot of volunteer work now that she's retired. And she just thought that that would be a really good thing for me. And I have memories of painting nails in the nursing home. Yes. And it just gave me this comfort around older adults. And I've always been more comfortable around older adults than kids, actually. So I feel like growing up, I spent more time around older adults just because of my mom's work and some of that volunteer work I did. And then as time went on, I developed an interest in medicine. I do come from a pretty medical family. My dad's a family doctor. He's retired now. But my mom was really the one that probably was more enthusiastic about her work in medicine and excited that I was interested. I think my dad was kind of like, are you sure that's what you want to do? But my mom has just always been so encouraging. And so I went through college and did the science thing and the pre-med thing, got into medical school. And I always thought that I would want to do something that's kind of a primary care type focused career. I've always been a person that I like to know a lot about a little. And then going through that training, I realized there's just so much we don't learn in medical school. And even in residency, I did internal medicine as my residency. There's so much we don't learn about just the practical aspects of caring for older adults. You know, we can prescribe all these medications and do all these things and recommend these tests and all these different things that we do for patients. But if they can't walk to get into their house, or if they are having cognitive difficulties, then you know, none of those plans will happen for people.
Yeah.
I've always been a person that's really loved working with teams too. So I really love working with nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, social workers. I've always really been kind of interested in that holistic approach of how do we do the medicine, but also think about what's going on in this person's life. How do they walk? How do they get their medications? What's their family support? I've always just been someone that's really like just taking care of people, including families. I love working with families and caregivers. So that's how I ended up deciding to do a geriatrics fellowship. I really felt that we just don't get that training as part of kind of regular medical training like we should. So I did most of my training out in Philadelphia, came back here and did my geriatrics fellowship at UPMC. And from that first day of fellowship, I just knew that I made the right choice. It was amazing training. And I felt so much more equipped coming out of that training to do the kind of work I do now. And my mom is still a huge part of my life. She helps me take care of my kids so I can do the work that I want to do and I can take care of patients in the way I want to. So she still is supporting this journey as much as she did all the way back then when I was a kid.
It
So
takes a village.
it does. It really does. I think, you guys know that firsthand for sure.
Yeah.
So if a I don't know, like a medical student, why should they choose geriatrics?
Well, we hear all the time about how much the population is aging, of course, especially here where we live. And we are just not well equipped to care for older adults in the right way. No matter what a person goes into in medicine, whether they become a surgeon or, any kind of specialist, they're going to encounter older adults. I guess unless you're becoming a pediatrician, but even then you're working with families. But pretty much every specialty in adult medicine, you're going to be working with older adults, and we need people to have those skills to really properly care for the population as they age. The problem is, and I'm going to be super honest throughout this conversation, is that right now there are not a whole lot of incentives for people to go into geriatrics as a specialty. There's not a whole lot of financial incentives to do that. You can graduate out of internal medicine or family medicine training and take a job that is much more profitable than doing that extra year of training. So actually kind of a sobering statistic that I recently heard is that only 126, I believe was the number, 126 people applied to geriatrics fellowships this year. And there's probably 1,000 spots. So that's across the whole country.
Wow.
So only just over 100 people are going into geriatrics fellowship training, and that's very scary. There's not enough people that are really interested in doing this as a specialty. So one of my passions is figuring out how do we teach doctors in all specialties, whether that's just adult primary care to, surgeons to cardiologists, everybody, how do we teach them as geriatricians, kind of how do I disseminate those skills to other doctors, because people aren't going to necessarily choose to go into this as a fellowship training and as a board certification unless those incentives change at some point. And I am hopeful. I'm optimistic that they will change at some point, but I really like to figure out how do we get other doctors and other professionals those skills, and also how do we create programs that can serve a lot of patients when we don't have a lot of geriatricians to do the kind of one-on-one care that I do.
So any of you out there who are becoming doctors, think about geriatrics. We need you.
Or nurse practitioners or PAs.
That's right.
All the things. We need all the things.
Yes, definitely. How hard is it in Pennsylvania to find like a provider in geriatrics?
It's difficult. It's very difficult. So here in Pittsburgh, we have our two big health systems, although now we have WVUs kind of getting into the mix here in Western Pennsylvania too. But at Allegheny Health Network, we are super lucky. We have 8 geriatricians. We have another one up in Erie also. But only a couple of us are practicing in the office. So we have some services that we have in the hospitals and in some skilled nursing facilities. But now we have 3 of us plus an amazing nurse practitioner doing office visits. So we have basically 4 providers with the AHN. UPMC has a really nice geriatrics group, maybe around the same size, a little bigger. But when you think about, we're talking, single digit numbers of geriatricians for all of the thousands and thousands of older adults. Here in our region and across the tri-state region. So it's very difficult to find a geriatrician. It's difficult to get in. The wait times are long. It's very difficult to find other specialists in geriatrics. Like a geriatric psychiatrist is even more difficult. So it's really tough out there for people trying to take care of their loved ones that need that care. For a long time, because I love primary care, I pretty much opened myself up to any older adult, 65 and older, that wanted to come see me. But then I realized, because there's such a mismatch with the supply and demand of geriatricians, over the years, I've had to narrow down my practice a bit and really try to focus on how do I serve the older adults who probably really need my skill set. So people living with dementia, people with really complex medical issues or really complex psychosocial issues. So now I've kind of focused in my practice a bit more on kind of those high risk patients or people that are really, maybe looking for a geriatric assessment because they want to think about healthy aging, but then they keep their primary care doc and just maybe see me once a year. So we've had to really think through, how do we serve the population in a way that makes sense when there's such a limited supply of us?
That makes us, that makes me feel special that like we got in.
I was thinking that exact same
because
thing.
I don't know if we ever told you how we got to you. So our mom was in the hospital at AGH. We knew our father was declining. I do way too much research for my own good. So we did all this research. We went on like Good Docs. I like read all these reviews. I'm like, all right, we're going to call this doctor. We called. They're like, oh, they don't exist anymore. And I was like, what? I just read a review. I was like, I just read a review from like 2 months ago. How did they just disappear? And because we were in the hospital and we were in such like a traumatic state, I kind of just trauma dumped on the lady. And she was like, okay, hold on. We're going to find someone for you. And they gave us you.
Oh, I'm so glad they did.
So are we.
And we got in very quickly. We didn't have a long wait time. And I'm like, okay. And I was going to school at West Penn at the time. So I'm like, oh, that's fine. It's right across the street. Like, I go to school there. We'll just take him and it'll be fine.
It doesn't surprise me that it was hard for you to find your way to me. We don't make it easy, unfortunately. We're trying to change that. We're trying to really improve the access and make it really easy for people. And that's one thing in my group we really pride ourselves on once our patients do get in with us, is that we have this amazing team. We give out the direct phone number to our nurses, to everybody, so they don't have to go through a menu of options, so they don't have to have a frustrating experience trying to get a hold of us. And that is one thing that I really feel is our secret sauce, once we get our patients into our practice, because if we just have to make it easy for people, it's way harder than it should be right now to find this kind of care.
And I can confirm your nurses, the best, like just the sweetest. Like we have zero complaints. Like everybody from, nurse practitioner to the nurses to even the people who check you in, like everyone is just wonderful.
Yeah.
That is just so wonderful to hear. And we, in our geriatrics group at AHN, we have a really good culture. Everybody is very passionate about what they do and really cares about our patients and families. And I think that people can see that. I mean, there are times that things aren't always the perfectly well-oiled machine that we all want them to be, and that's just kind of the nature of things in medicine right now. Everybody is short-staffed and not enough time and not enough people, but we really take a lot of pride in being there for our families in our group.
And in the community, you also have a very good reputation. So like the people at the Wexford Hospital, they knew you were. The people at hospice knew. They're like, oh yeah, we've worked with them. They're good. They'll get us what we need.
And you are, as far as like resources go, like you have come in clutch for us many a times when it's come to resources, like finding Ben, who, Ben will be on, and finding the elder law attorney. Like, was such a blessing to, like, I think it just happened the way that it was supposed to happen, that, like, we were in need, we found you, and then you had all these resources that we needed at that time.
That's one of the other favorite things about my job, is just building all those relationships with people in the community that really care about the same things that I care about, and they bring all of their passion and they get it. So it's been amazing. I was sharing before we started that I've been with AHN. It'll be 13 years as of August. And the relationships that I've built in that time, both in my health network, also at UPMC, because I've kept up all my relationships there, and then just in the community, it's just been so rewarding to be able to connect my families and patients to these other people that care so much also.
So for families out there that are like, oh, I have an older adult and maybe they live in a county or a state that it's hard to get access to, like a geriatrics team. What advice would you give them?
It's tough. I think creating a community or finding a community of just people who are going through what you're going through as a caregiver and leveraging that to get connected either to a set of providers that might be taking care of the loved one of a friend or another family member. But I think just, finding that network, it really shouldn't be this hard. And that's something that I'm working to change.
You're doing amazing.
You are. You're out there doing this. Yeah.
So what do you do for fun?
Well, I'm a mom, so I have 2 awesome kids. My daughter just turned 9 and my son's about to be 7. I'm a runner. I'm training for my first marathon this year.
Oh, yay. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I like to relax on the weekends. I'm not going to lie. I like to just chill because the weeks can be intense. So, I'm a homebody. I love just staying at home and curling up on the couch with my kids and watching a show. And I run with another group of moms. Some of them are doctors too, who are also very wonderful, caring, passionate people. I definitely try, especially as I'm getting older, I really try to take that time to decompress and disconnect because I want to sustain this work for a long time.
What marathon are you running?
Here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice.
Well, that's the plan. I'm signed up.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we could be the water passer at our people.
Yeah. We'll get signs.
That'd be awesome.
And we're good at signs and
Yes.
cheering on.
We're good cheers.
Yeah.
Not good runners, but
Oh no. I'm not, no. That's where it ends for me.
yeah, hard pass.
Are you watching anything good?
I'm watching the Taylor Swift documentary on the Eras tour right now.
Oh, that's saved in my list of things to watch.
I actually don't watch a lot of TV. I really don't. I don't have the energy for it much. This is probably the only thing I've watched in a long time, but it's actually really good. And she's also just somebody who really inspires her team to bring this passion. I mean, obviously on this humongous scale, but watching how she put together that tour and how she is a leader is actually really inspiring for me, even in my work, oddly. Yeah.
That's
I'm
cool.
a Swiftie, I'm not going to lie.
Hey, no judgment here. No judgment here. So, as a full-time doctor and mom, along with running, what else do you do to take care of you?
The running's been actually huge. It's been a really big self-care thing for me because I've joined a running group about almost a year and a half ago now. And it was actually a time where I was going through some stress and anxiety and just really needed kind of an outlet, and I needed to do something for me. So as much as it sounds like it's not self-care because people think, wow, getting early and running, we get up and we meet at 5:20 a.m. on the weekdays, at 6 a.m. on Saturdays. But it has actually been this huge self-care thing for me because it's a wonderful outlet with a really caring group of people. And we talk, some of them are also in medicine. So we talk about just kind of the stress or the tough, sometimes we share about some of the tough cases we have, of course, keeping everything confidential, but we, kind of just unload or we troubleshoot some different things and kind of process some of the emotions that come along. I was sharing with you both before we started that now that I'm getting to a certain age, a lot of the adult children of my patients are at around my age or at my stage of life. So it definitely weighs on me to see what you all are going through and to also think about going through this with my parents at some point or my in-laws. It's going to come. And I definitely, I get very emotional and I think about, okay, how would I react if I'm in these shoes? And, we see a lot of sadness, a lot of end of life. So being with this group and getting that exercise has actually been a huge self-care thing. And I've sacrificed a little bit to do that. I probably don't get as much sleep as I should. I don't watch really much TV anymore, but it's not anything I miss. So I've had to kind of figure out how to incorporate that in, even if it means letting a couple other things go. But it's been it's been a really good thing. So I think exercise, if people can do it, I know it's not easy for everybody, but that's a huge self-care thing, and it's really helped take my stress and anxiety down.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I applaud you for 520 because no, ma'am.
Well, listen, I could never do it by myself. Like, there is something for me about knowing that people are waiting for you, even though
Yes.
obviously the world's not going to end if you don't come. But just knowing that somebody's kind of like expecting you to be there is that's a big motivator for me. So
That's what we talked about on our last episode, accountability.
exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Do you have any goals for 2026? So our last episode was talking about how caregivers should create micro goals.
Self-care has been a goal, actually, and that was a big part of just for me in my personal life deciding to sign up for the marathon, because that's been something on my bucket list, and that was a really big decision for me because that's probably the first big goal I've set for myself that has been outside of my professional life. So in the last few years, I've been kind of full steam ahead trying to apply for grants. I have a research project going, all centered around the geriatric programs that I'm involved with that I'm so passionate about. And it's all been wonderful. It's been so fulfilling, and we've really created some great things. But I also think, as we talked about, self-care is important, and I need to practice what I preach. And so this was the first time I set actually a big goal for myself outside of my professional life. And I'm excited about it. And I know that it will just help me kind of continue to sustain the work I do in my professional life to make sure that I'm also nurturing some things in my personal life too.
That was really cool. I learned a lot about Dr. Weinberg. As the daughter of a patient, we don't get to see that other side. So that was really nice. Thanks, Dr. Weinberg.
Very special.
Yeah. And next week, we're going to talk to Dr. Weinberg about some programs that are for people with dementia and Alzheimer's. Some of them will be national programs, while others will be local to us. Yay, Pittsburgh, 412.
In the house.